The fans make their way into the Rogers Center in Toronto. On a beautiful day outside, inside, we welcome you to Mother's Day. And happy Mother's Day to all the fans here and all of you out there. It's the Red Sox and Jays in Game 3 of the series. Welcome inside the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Don Orsillo. As today, the Red Sox try to salvage the last game of this series before heading out west. A number of moves taking place again today. A lot of new faces shuffling in and out for the Red Sox. And today, 2 go up and 2 go down. As it turns out, Jackie Bradley Jr., part of the guys coming up, as well as Stephen Wright, called from Pawtucket, arriving today and available. Jackie Bradley Jr. is actually in the Red Sox lineup in this game. A surprise here. Alan Craig optioned to Pawtucket, had options. The Red Sox exercised them, and Robbie Ross Jr. also will be joining him, headed to Rhode Island. We welcome in Steve Lyons. And Steve, at this point, with all these moves, what does this mean right now for the Red Sox?
Well, I think what it shows is that there's an understanding within the organization that this team is underperforming and a willingness to do something about it. I think that these moves had to be made. I think that they understand that things have to change around here, and they're not done making moves because Shane Victorino's ready to come off the DL, and they're going to have to make another one very, very soon.
That will likely be tomorrow, but today is today, and the Red Sox need a win up against the Toronto Blue Jays. A look at the CN Tower as we come back with the first pitch right after this. New Audi A3 today. DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of your Boston Red Sox. Toyota's website for deals via Toyota.com. Dunkin' Donuts, America runs on Dunkin'. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Choose Nissan.com. And by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at Southwest.com. It is a beautiful day outside here of the Rogers Center and in downtown Toronto, but the roof is closed pending thunder showers in the area, so they start this game with the roof closed on this Mother's Day from Toronto. And before we get started, let's send it down to Garen Austin. Garen?
New pitching coach Carl Willis is now with the team, and he said the whole thing happened so quickly he's still trying to get to know the pitchers. Willis spoke with the media earlier today and said, although it's about fastball command, that's what he spoke to us about. He said he has more than one pitching philosophy.
As far as philosophy goes, I generally have 12 philosophies because everybody does it differently. Just because two guys are right-handed doesn't mean that they're going to be able to go out and pitch the same way. I do believe in fastball command, the ability to throw the fastball, the 4 quadrants to both sides of the plate, up and down. I think if you can do that, you have something to work off of.
Well, he will have the opportunity here on this lengthy road trip for the Red Sox to get to know his new staff. He and John Farrell spending about 3 hours together last night, and it's been well documented that Carl Willis, of course, knows John Farrell very well. John Farrell was the farm director at the time with the Cleveland Indians when he was the Major League pitching coach under Eric Wedge, a longtime pitching coach with the Indians, and then went to Seattle with Eric Wedge as well on that staff. So here he is with a new group to work with. He was working in Columbus at AAA for the Cleveland Indians to this point of the year, and certainly a promotion. So the Indians allowing him to join the Red Sox here, and something different.
Yeah, and there's no question that he's familiar with John Farrell. They're both familiar with each other. They have worked before together, and that's going to help him in the transition here. And I think he's going to clearly spend all of his time trying to figure out who's on this staff, what their strengths are, and how he can help.
Well, the Blue Jays take the field here today. As they do, let's check out the Red Sox starting lineup. It's brought to you by your Eastern Hyundai dealers. Leading it off, and in center field is Mookie Betts, with Dustin Pedroia at second base, batting second. David Ortiz, the DH, with Hanley Ramirez in left field. Pablo Sandoval at third base, with Mike Napoli at first base, batting sixth. Xander Bogaerts at shortstop, with Jackie Bradley Jr. in right, just up from the Paw Sox. And it's Sandy Leon catching the day game after the night game here at the Rogers Center. Today's Blue Jays starting pitchers presented by your New England Nissan dealers. Former National League Cy Young Award winner R.A. Dickey makes his 7th start of the year today. 1-3 with a 4.38 earned run average, 20 strikeouts to 16 walks, and opponent sitting at .229 against Dickey. April 29th, he faced the Red Sox and took the loss, giving up 4 runs in 7 innings. Didn't walk anybody and struck out 4.
Blue Jays defense brought to you by DraftKings. Donaldson, Goings, Travis, and Encarnacion around the infield. In the outfield, Colabello makes the start in left, Pilar in center as usual, and Carrera today in right field. And there's your battery, Josh Tolley and Robert Allen Dickey.
The umpiring crew here today, Lance Barksdale has a play calling the balls and strikes with Adam Hamari at first base. It is Sam Holbrook at second and Sean Barber at third.
Notice a lot of players today wearing a lot of pink in honor of Mothers and Mother's Day.
We're available. This telecast can be heard in Spanish by selecting the SAP button on your television remote. Enjoy the game. The conditions outside are brought to you by Benjamin Moore. 66 degrees, mostly cloudy, and again the forecast calling for thunder showers here in the area. So they have the roof closed to begin the contest. And here is Mookie Betts to get it started. First pitch of the ball game has him jumping back for ball 1. Now Mookie Betts starts today hitting at .242. 5 homers, 18 runs batted in.
Well, as you might have guessed, when a knuckleballer is not throwing the ball well, he can be very, very inconsistent. Dickey off to that 1-3 start. He actually likes the roof closed up here better, and it is closed today.
Drops in there for a strike at the bottom of the zone. Ray Dickey, 40 years of age, from Nashville, Tennessee, is Pedroia limbering up on deck. This is fouled off to the right, out of play. Only 14-game winner in each of his first 2 seasons with the Blue Jays. 14-13 in 2013, and last year same record, 14-13.
It's about what you get out of a knuckleball guy, right around 500 usually.
Was the Cy Young Award winning the National League Cy Young Award in 2012 with the Mets. 20 wins that year and logged 233 2/3 innings. Betts will pop it up foul, back it out of play. Look, you'll see an 8th pitch in this at bat.
You'll see Dickey varying his speeds of the knuckleball. He throws one early in counts, basically just to get it over, and then when he's got to at 2 strikes and if he's ahead in the count, he throws one quite a bit harder. Occasional fastball.
Line towards right center field, struck pretty well. Pilar going back, and Pilar will lay it out. Can't make the catch. Glances off the glove to the warning track, as Mookie Betts heads for third, and he will get there sliding. So good bid out there by Pilar. A diving bid, but could not keep it in the glove.
What an excellent effort, man. He went a country mile to go get this ball. Look at the speed and then the dive, but watch how he lands. Once that elbow hits, I don't know what's in there, your little ulnar nerve or something, it opens up your hand when you hit your elbow on the ground, and that's why you drop the ball. You got to try to land right on your hands after making a catch like that. Hits his elbow, his hand opens up, and he loses the ball, and Mookie ends up on third. Great effort.
So a triple to get this day started for the Red Sox, and here is Dustin Pedroia. He will ground one left side to deep short. Goins will throw to first in time, and the run scores. In from third is Mookie Betts, and the Red Sox grab the game's first lead. Boy, they needed that, on top 1-0.
Well, it's been a long time since the Red Sox had an early lead.
So an RBI for Pedroia on the ground out. Here is David Ortiz. It's the first game of this series, serving that suspension on Friday. Back in there yesterday for the Red Sox. David going 1 for 4.
Red Sox are 8-2 when they score first, but they're 5-15 when they don't, and we've seen a lot of that lately.
Ortiz thought about it, but it sails down low. Shift on here for Ortiz on the right side with Devin Travis in short right. Dickey wanted that call, didn't get it. As Ortiz stares out, it's 3-0. And Ramirez back in the lineup again today, returning to the club yesterday. There is ball 4. A couple of close pitches there not going Dickey's way. So one out walk for Big Papi.
Red Sox hitters against Dickey will generally look for the ball to be up in the zone. Generally a knuckleball, if it's up, won't do as much dancing, and he gets awfully difficult when he's down in the strike zone because the ball will move even more.
So you go with the theory of if it's high, let it fly.
If it's low, let it go.
One out, Ortiz at first, and here is Hanley Ramirez. Back in the lineup yesterday, 0 for 4 in his return. First time he had played since May the 4th. He injured his shoulder top of the first inning of Monday's game against the Tampa Bay Rays. A left shoulder sprain.
Talk about the inconsistency of R.A. Dickey this season and knuckleballers in general, right around 500. But our very own Tim Wakefield, better than 500, way better than 500, 20 games over. 200 victories in his career, Tim Wakefield. 200.
In the air, high and deep down the left field line towards the pole. It is going to be a foul ball. Had to wait. That one was towering down that left field line. Looks like it might have a chance to go over the pole down the left field line.
Yeah. Get it up there into that fifth deck. Jose Canseco territory. Watch this swing. Excellent view of that ball not really spinning on its way, and Hanley knew it was going to be really close. He didn't even get 3 steps out of the box.
That'll drop in there for a strike. Now he gets credit for that corner. Was not getting it before. He's got a home run against R.A. Dickey in his career. There's Pablo Sandoval waiting on deck. On the ground, chop towards third base. Donaldson will go to second for the force there. Throw to first is going to be wild. And thrown away, but it glances off that short fencing beyond the Red Sox dugout. Ramirez will be on at first with now 2 down in the inning.
Ramirez almost ran right out of the stadium there after he gets going. It takes him a while to slow it down. Doesn't get a great jump out of the box, but now realizes that the double play situation's in order. He's got to get down that line to be safe. Just came out over the top of that ball and topped it. He's still going. Come on back.
So 2 down in the inning. Ramirez at first base and Pablo Sandoval the batter. Sandoval just under 300, hitting at 299 coming in. Ari Dickey coming in at 1-3, 7th start of the year. To right field, and this is going to be trouble. It'll get down and go to the wall. Ramirez headed for third as Sandoval gets into second base with a double, and the Red Sox, as that one trickles in, Encarnacion able to back it up. Second and third now, 2 down in the inning.
Sandoval just staying right on that ball. Boy, I'll tell you what, that slow motion view really gives you a sense of what the knuckleball's trying to do on its way to the plate. Sandoval just cleans it out down the line. Hanley with not enough speed to be able to score all the way from first on that ball. And well, this is where the glaring problems for the Red Sox of late have reared their ugly head. They need a base hit right here to pick up these 2 runs. Even the run they scored today was not scored on a hit with a runner in scoring position.
And Mike Napoli really needs a hit as well, as that one up by his eyes, able to jump back out of the way. .165 average for Mike, 2 homers and 7 runs batted in. Thought about it, but takes the high strike. Xander Bogaerts waiting on deck here. There's Dickey trying to get out of this jam. He's already given up a run. Now a high fly ball out to left center field, sending Pilar back onto the track at the wall. It is gone. Mike Napoli with his 3rd home run of the year, a 3-run shot, and just the start the Red Sox needed, on top 4-0. So how about this start for the Red Sox today? Exactly what the doctor ordered.
I think you can really see a difference in Mike Napoli's swing right there, too. It looked like he cut down just a little bit. Watch, he's not so huge like he has been. Just trying to get that bat head quickly through the zone. A way more controlled swing, and look at the power. He certainly does not have to swing as hard as he can in order to hit the ball out of the yard. When the ball's up, it will fly out of here.
So not the start that Ari Dickey wanted, to say the least, as Xander Bogaerts takes a pitch high. Xander at 260 coming in, and the 7th member of the Red Sox to bat in the inning at a pop-up on the left side of the infield. And Ryan Goins settles underneath and ends the inning, but a 4 spot on the board for the Red Sox in the first, on top 4-0. Mike Napoli with his third home run of the year gives the Red Sox a 4-0 advantage. And today's starting pitcher is presented by your local New England Audi dealers. Clay Buchholz into his 7th start of the year, 1-4 with a 6.03 ERA, 40 strikeouts, 10 walks. Opponent sitting at 303. Has a 4-run lead before he takes the hill. And Devin Travis takes a pitch that runs inside. Last time out, giving up 5 runs, 4 earned in 2 2/3 innings against the Blue Jays and taking the loss against the Jays. Although Toronto is a team that he has had success against since the start 2010. He is 8-6, a 3.26 earned run average, and a 3.38 ERA in his career against the Blue Jays. And those have been some pretty good hitting Blue Jays teams. High strike call, 2-1. Travis lifts it foul down the right field line, out of play. Numbers here at the Rogers Center for Clay Buchholz. 8-3 with a nifty 2.16 earned run average. And the Jays against him in the Dome at 202. Yeah, the best ever among starters who have 10+ starts against Toronto. At the high strike, but not the low strike there. Full count. On deck is Josh Donaldson here in the bottom of the first inning. Close pitch, called the ball. He walks the first batter that he faces on the day. Let's check out the rest of the Blue Jays starting lineup. It's brought to you by New England Chevy dealers. Just saw Devin Travis lead it off, the second baseman. Josh Donaldson at third base. Jose Bautista, the DH, bats third with Edwin Encarnacion at first. Kevin Pillar in center. Chris Colabello in left with Ezequiel Carrera in right. Josh Tolley, the personal catcher for R.A. Dickey, with Ryan Goins at shortstop, batting ninth. The last thing Buchholz wanted to do with a 4-0 lead is walk the first batter that he faces here in the bottom of the first inning. And checks immediately on Travis at first.
Buchholz has to find a way to establish his fastball first, throw up for strikes, throw it consistently, and then go to his secondary pitches. A lot of people may be wondering why we saw Jackie Bradley Jr., probably one of the best center fielders I've seen in a long time, why he's in right field today. And John Farrell was talking about that. Mookie Betts certainly does an outstanding job in center as well, but he wants to stay consistent. Doesn't want to be moving those guys all over the place. JBJ has played some right field down in AAA.
To third base, Sandoval go to second for one. On to first. It is dug out by Napoli. Nicely done. Taken out at second base was Pedroia by Travis. Appeared to be a legal slide there, and because of that, throw was in the dirt, and Napoli able to dig it out, a double play.
Travis gets a great jump, and he's bearing down on Pedroia. Pedroia hangs right in there. He knows he's going to get hit. Napoli with a nice pick.
So 2 down brings up Jose Bautista.
Tim Leeper down there, the first base coach of the Jays, was trying to complain maybe that Napoli didn't keep his foot on the bag, but there's no challenge.
Bautista, the DH again today, still unable to play defensively in right field. A sore shoulder keeping him from doing that, and kind of affecting all of the Blue Jays lineup.
There's a lot of whispering going on that he's fine and should be playing right field, and he has still decided he doesn't want to.
And there for a strike, and it's 1-1. The average down for Bautista, hitting at .216. Power, he's got 5 home runs, but not the leader on this team. In fact, there are 2 guys ahead of him. Devin Travis, their leadoff hitter, Josh Donaldson, as the breaking ball has him ducking for cover.
It's kind of a cement mixer breaking ball right there. Kind of backed up, didn't do anything.
Close pitch, but Buchholz not getting that corner. Ball's behind 3-1. Did walk the leadoff hitter before he was erased on the double play. Low for ball 4 and 2 walks in the first inning.
Red Sox defense brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Sandoval, Bogarts, Pedroia, and Napoli around the infield. We've seen that before. And in the outfield, Ramirez in left field now, again for back-to-back nights. Mookie in center, and JBJ just up from AAA and in right field. Sandy Leon's the catcher, and Buchholz is your starter for today.
2 down, runner at first for Edwin Encarnacion. That's in the dirt for ball 1.
Encarnacion has not hit for an average well against Buchholz, but does have 2 home runs in his career against him.
A big home run yesterday, a 3-run shot that opened things up yesterday for the Blue Jays. Joe Kelly, that hanger curveball there that Encarnacion took out of the yard.
Nice catch made by Van up there, but that ball was really hammered.
Now 5 homers on the year, 18 runs driven in.
Wow.
He's had a lot of those here in the first inning and not getting credit for him.
That's where Dickey was trying to go too, down and away to the right-handed hitters.
Buchholz has thrown 15 pitches, but only 4 strikes.
Wow.
3-0.
You just can't do that. You cannot come out after your team gets you 4 runs and come out and walk the yard in the first inning.
7 walks allowed by Joe Kelly yesterday.
6 or 7 the last time Masterson went.
That's a strike.
We saw in that bite from new pitching coach Carl Willis that he's going to stress fastball command. If you're a pitcher and you can't throw your fastball over the plate, you're going to have some long days. There is Carl.
Third walk given up by Buchholz, and back-to-back here. Bautista and Encarnacion. You see John Farrell kind of wearing his frustration right now. Two on, 2 down, and Kevin Pillar coming up. I asked you this earlier, but how long is it going to be here for Carl Willis really to learn his pitching staff, get to know his pitchers, strengths, weaknesses, and all the nuances that take place?
It's going to take a while. He's got to see these guys throw. He's not learning a darn thing right now. He's seeing a guy that can't throw the ball over the plate. Buchholz to me looks like he's striding way shorter than normal and cutting his pitches off almost like he's not following through.
Got a short arming.
Yeah, like almost like he's throwing darts.
On the ground to third. Sandoval tagged the bag, the force out that ends the inning. So 3 walks, but no runs come of it for Buchholz. The Red Sox have a 4-0 lead after 1. Back at the Rogers Center, the Red Sox on top 4-0. R.A. Dickey giving up 4 runs in the first. And Jackie Bradley Jr. back with the Red Sox again. Hits a ground ball softly to the first baseman, Encarnacion, who tags the bag for the first out here of the second inning. Moments ago, as Carl Willis, the new pitching coach for the Red Sox, first conferred with Sandy Leon and then went over and talked to Clay Buchholz, as started with the catcher, then moved to his pitcher.
Well, I think it's a good idea. Number one, he wants to see if some of those pitches that were being called balls were close, and what Leon thought about them, and what Leon's thinking about the kind of stuff he's seeing right now, and then go talk to the pitcher about it.
One pitch is going to miss, and it is 2-1. Mookie Betts, top of the order, waiting on deck.
May see a fastball out of Dickey right here.
Popped up. Foul ground, and that'll get back and out of play. 80 miles an hour with it.
Blistering. Leon's probably upset with himself that he fouled it off. See a straight one. Got to hit it.
Back to the knuckler. And it is lined to right, and that's going to get in for a base hit. Fourth hit of the game for the Red Sox off R.A. Dickey. Sandy Leon aboard with 1 out in the inning. Red Sox Suites and Premium Packages provide a VIP experience for you and your guests. Call 877-RED-SOX-9 or email premiumsales@redsox.com for more information. 1 out, 1 on for Mookie Betts. He tripled in the first inning. Good diving bid out there in right center field by Kevin Pillar, who had it, but then the elbow hit the turf and the ball trickled out of his glove, and a triple for Mookie Betts.
Pillar has been some kind of highlight reel for these Jays. They say almost every other day. That was really the first one we've seen in this series, but they say he makes some amazing plays.
Some young, exciting center fielders being injected into this American League East this year. Kevin Kiermaier with the Tampa Bay Rays, who we just saw in center field for the Rays, and now Kevin Pillar here in center field too for the Blue Jays.
I'm not afraid to throw Mookie into that conversation either.
Absolutely true.
I mean, has not been a center fielder, but his instincts are getting sharper out there every day he plays. He's already made some outstanding defensive plays, and he's going to do nothing but get better. And he hasn't done anything wrong yet. And that guy right there is one of the best I saw last year.
This one fouled off to the right, out of play. Interesting to see whether or not Jackie Bradley Jr., had he stayed the entire year in the majors, whether or not he would have won a Gold Glove.
Well, the funny thing is, you win a Gold Glove because you have a good offensive year. Isn't that, kind of weird the way that goes?
This is fouled off to the right, out of play. So you're suggesting that because he did not, and had he stayed up all year, he probably still would not have won a Gold Glove.
No chance. Was he the best center fielder I saw last year? Absolutely. And Don, I don't pass out those kind of compliments as far as center fielders go very, very easily. Kind of stingy when it comes to that. I played center field. Kind of thought I was a decent center fielder. I couldn't play with him. And there's a rare player that can.
Well, offense back in his game again. Been playing well. Really played his way back onto this roster.
Hit over 340.
2-2 pitch is a one hopper to second base. Travis goes to second for one. No chance with the speed of Betts to turn that, but they do get the lead runner in Leon.
Mookie doing a nice job of going the other way with that pitch, but just good defense out there by Travis. It's got to be nice to know that you're Mookie Betts and you can watch the whole play develop in front of you because you know you're fast enough to beat the double play.
So 2 outs, a runner at first, and Dustin Pedroia grounded out to shortstop in the first inning. Starts him with a fastball. Blue Jays after the game will be heading to Baltimore. The Red Sox heading to the West Coast to begin their series against the Oakland A's. Check on Betts at first base, back to the bag.
Don, I think he has to run right here.
Want to keep the pressure on. And he got the knuckleballer out there as well.
Yep.
Pedroia taking the strike, 1-1.
Mookie with a little bigger lead.
Always known for taking a pretty large lead as it is. And he is going. Here's a liner that is up over the outstretched glove of Travis into right center. That keeps on going to third. It'll be stopped there. So a little hit and run there for the Red Sox, and it's first and third with 2 down, just out of the reach of Devin Travis, the second baseman.
I think Travis may have taken a step or two towards second base. Watch him. As Mookie was trying to steal, he had to cover the bag, so he takes a step or two towards the base, and that enables that ball to get up over his head. If he was back in his normal position, probably would have caught that ball, but good luck for the Red Sox, and Petey getting that ball up over his head.
First and third, 2 down, and David Ortiz, the batter. A walk in the first inning. Only walk allowed by R.A. Dickey so far.
If you're the middle infielder who's covering the bag on a steal, they like to try to teach you to play a little closer to the bag so you don't have to cheat. So when the guy runs, you can try to hold your position.
Well, they stack it up on the right side on the shift, and Ortiz is out number 3 to end the inning. 4-0 Red Sox after an inning and a half. Nothing Red Sox. Let's send it down to Guerin.
Steve, as you were saying earlier, there is a lot of pink out here, and that is because it's Mother's Day. This is the 10th year that Major League Baseball has supported its Batting Out Breast Cancer initiative, where the players wear pink. I spoke to some of the players who told me that they like wearing pink on this day, and some of them joked with me that their moms would be mad if they didn't. Don, Steve, it's a great way to honor moms, and it supports a really great cause.
It sure does. A lot of pink bats. I got the pink shirt that I'm rocking up here today.
Yes, you do.
And a happy Mother's Day to my mom, Marianne.
And mine, Lillian.
This is to right center field, and this ball is going to get in for a base hit. This Colabello with a base hit.
It's amazing how many different styles of shoes and stuff that the guys are wearing that do have pink. Some of them are really good-looking shoes. It's almost a shame they only wear it one day.
R.A. Dickey is rocking the spikes that are pink as well.
Yep. Mookie Betts has some cool ones on. I really like Bogarts at short. He's got some. I think he's sporting some pink laces too.
Yeah.
Just the insert there of his New Balance cleats, and he's wearing cleats on that long turf.
Leadoff base hit here for Colabello. Ezequiel Carrera. Well, take strike one. Came in defensively a couple times in this series. First start of the series for Carrera, former Cleveland Indian.
I think you were talking as we finished the thought on the Mother's Day cleats and pink and everything. They auction these off. Most of the guys sign the stuff they're wearing, auction it off, and raise money for breast cancer awareness.
Yep.
Great cause.
One of the greatest comebacks I've ever seen took place on a Mother's Day at Fenway Park, a game my mom was actually at. The Mother's Day miracle at Fenway. Red Sox were trailing by 6 runs to the Baltimore Orioles and came back to win that game. Grounded by Julio Lugo, and the Red Sox won. This was it. Couldn't remember what year it was. 2007, May 13th. And Lugo beating it out.
How about the guys in the truck on that one? All you do is ask for it and they got it.
It's
just
right
like
there.
that.
Huh? There's a pop-up foul off to the left out of play. Carrera, when he has played, hitting at .467 coming in. Limited time off the bench. Buchholz working very slowly as he deals with strike 3. A high fastball, it appeared, and it grabs the top of the zone. We're saying something to Barksdale on the way by. First strikeout for Clay Buchholz.
Trying to gain consistency with that fastball. That looks like a pretty good pitch to me right there. I think you got a hack at that one with 2 strikes.
1 out and a runner at first for Josh Tolle. Generally does the catching. Or R.A. Dickey. Russell Martin out of the lineup today.
Kind of amazing and ironic for Martin. Obviously, Tolle always catches R.A. Dickey, does a better job. Martin has caught him in the past. Martin is 5 for 16 with 4 home runs off of Buchholz, and he's not in the lineup.
That's why a lot of managers like to stay away from that scenario, but you have that knuckleballer that you got to deal with.
He has had to catch him before. Tolle hasn't been here the entire season, but kind of if you sign R.A. Dickey, you signed Josh Tolle to go along with him. They were together with the Mets. There's Martin on the bench. They're like David Ross always goes where Lester is. He pitched the other day.
Yes, he did. Well.
1-2-3 inning.
Swing and a miss as another pitch up.
I think he walked by Lester after that and said, that's the way you do it.
That's how you do it, Johnny.
Yeah, I got you.
Colabello with a leadoff single. Carrera striking out. Josh Tolley with a count of 1-2. Thought about it, but does not pull the trigger.
The pitch count continues to rise for Buchholz.
Ryan Goins waiting on deck. Buchholz had to throw 21st inning pitches. He walked 3 in that first inning. Another check on Colabello at first base. Chopper towards second base. Pedroia will try to start it to second for 1. On to first, and it is in time. They turn it. 4-6-3 on the twin killing that ends the second inning through 2, 4-0 Red Sox. Red Sox baseball in Nesson is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Carl Willis over to talk to Clay Buchholz. So far in between every inning, and going over some stuff with him here as Buchholz through the first 2 innings, throwing 32 pitches. Benefit of a couple of double plays turned defensively behind him. 2 in each of the first 2 innings. R.A. Dickey giving up 4 in the first. Did not give up a run in the second, and here he is in the third with Hanley Ramirez leading it off and popping it up foul, backing out of play. Ramirez reaching on a fielder's choice in the first inning. Came around to score the Red Sox second run. Ramirez, Sandoval, and Napoli expected here in the inning. On the ground towards shortstop, Ryan Goins to his left. 1 down in the inning. We'll talk about Mother's Day, and May 10th, 1970, that's 45 years ago. Bobby Orr scores the Stanley Cup clinching goal against the Blues. That's a T-Mobile game-changer performance.
Pretty famous picture.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah, flying through the air.
As Pablo Sandoval takes a strike. Sandoval with a first inning double to right field. Right down the line in right. Helps set the table for the Mike Napoli 3-run home run. What differences do you see in Sandoval from the left side to the right side as far as switch hitting goes for him? Because so far, certainly the right side's not been good for him.
Yeah, I think the main thing is consistency of at-bats. He gets far more at-bats from the left side. He feels more comfortable over there.
Couple of hops out to Travis, and he's out number 2 of the inning. So 1 for 2 today so far for the Panda. 2 down, and it brings up Mike Napoli.
Yeah, you can see Bobby Orr flying through the air right outside TD Garden anytime you want. Four years ago today, that statue was put up.
Napoli's home run back in the first inning, his 3rd home run of the year. He hit 6 of them during the spring, but it has taken him till May the 10th to get his 3rd of this season, of the regular season anyway. And like to have bottled up some of those spring training home runs. It didn't count.
It's his 8th home run in this ballpark in 20 games played here since he's been with the Red Sox. So he likes to hit here.
There's a lot of guys that like to hit here, and they talk about the really dark backdrop here in the batter's eye that is a good hitter's batter's eye. I know a batter's eye everywhere is supposed to be good, but some places better than others, and they like this.
And obviously the pink bunting that they have up there right now doesn't distract anybody.
Right.
I remember Wade Boggs in Fenway Park, and a lot of those seats are now not for sale. They're blacked out.
Day games.
Boggs used to complain that, you know, when someone would throw a curveball, it would get up into the seats and you couldn't see it. And obviously the release point of a guy when he throws his fastball, the ball comes right out of his hand. A curveball, it kind of jumps up out of his hand. It kind of goes up. And that's what Boggs didn't like. He said he could see that happen. I couldn't see it. He said he could see that happening, and he didn't like it.
Ball 4 down to Napoli. He goes down to first base. Second walk given up by Dickey. A lot of guys complained about Randy Johnson coming out from the seats.
A lot of guys complained about Randy Johnson in general.
So a 2-out walk here from Mike Napoli, and Xander Bogaerts the batter. He popped out to the shortstop. Ryan Goins in the first inning.
Bogaerts using a half pink bat. I like that Mookie Betts stepped up there, first batter of the game, using a nice pink bat and roped a triple.
And now R.A. Dickey having trouble with a knuckleball. Jackie Bradley Jr. waiting on deck. 2 down here in the Boston 3rd inning.
Talking to Dwayne Ward, one of their radio announcers here for the Jays, who was a longtime pitcher, a guy who had nasty stuff. He told me that he thought it was just an absolute fluke that Dickey was able to rattle off the number of wins he did, the 20-win season when he won the Cy Young a couple of years ago back with the Mets.
This is to right field, and Carrera is positioned perfectly to make the catch in the inning. For 2.5, 4-0 Red Sox. On August 9th, the Zach Brown Band will play their third consecutive night in concert at Fenway Park, and included in every purchased ticket is a download of the band's brand new album. Be sure to get your tickets online at redsox.com/Zach Brown. 4-0. Red Sox have the lead over the Blue Jays, and a first pitch fastball in there for Buchholz for strike one to Ryan Goins. 224 average for the Blue Jays shortstop. Goins filling in there for Jose Reyes. On the ground right side, Pedroia gobbles it up. First out of the inning. Well, Buchholz settling down after the 3 walks in the first inning.
You hope he settles in. It would have been hard to get, further down that bad road after the 3 walks. Thankfully, he's been mixing in some nice double play balls.
Defense behind him helping him out. 1 down in the inning. Devin Travis, who walked his first time up. Don Orsillo, Steve Lyons, Aaron Austin with you from the Rogers Center in Toronto. Game 3 of the 3-game series. Red Sox trying to salvage this last game of the series. And off to a good start today. 4-run first inning for Boston. And a big 3-run blast for Mike Napoli if you're just joining us. As that one skips in, and Buchholz frustrated with his delivery. You've seen that a few times today. Breaking ball grounded slowly back towards the mound. Nice athletic play by Buchholz and a good throw to first base. 2 down. Well, today's Cold Hard Facts are brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Mentioned Carl Willis joining the club today as the Red Sox new pitching coach. Was with the Columbus Clippers at AAA, the Cleveland Indians AAA prior to this, and pitching coach for the Indians and Seattle Mariners. 2003 through 2013, all that under Eric Wedge. And of course has tutored some pretty good pitchers along the way, as you saw. None better than King Felix, though, really out there in Seattle. 2 down for Josh Donaldson. And a ground ball to shortstop has Bogarts to his left. And a nifty 1-2-3 inning, 3 ground ball outs for Clay Buchholz. It's 4-0 Boston through 3. 4-0. Red Sox have the lead over the Blue Jays. R.A. Dickey back on the hill. And it is Jackie Bradley Jr. to lead it off here in the 4th inning. Leone and Betts expected to follow. Talking to John Gibbons a little bit about R.A. Dickey, and you have to stay with him. It's one of those things where he gives up 4 runs in a heartbeat in the 1st inning, but at the same time he's a guy that can settle down and give you 8 more strong innings. As a little bobble there at first for Encarnacion, and they just do get Bradley at first base. Nice play by Dickey to get over there to cover. You deserve a team that works hard every day. At Eastern Bank, our business bankers are for you days, nights, and doubleheaders. To see why we've been named the #1 SBA lender in New England, visit easternbank.com/smallbiz. Just outside the Rogers Center here in Toronto. All kinds of activity today. They had a walk, a road race, you name it. All the streets around the ballpark today were very busy. Tough to get here today.
Yes, it was.
Sandy Leone singling his first time up in the 2nd inning. And he takes the strike, but it's like that kind of, we saw that with Tim Wakefield at times, where you could lose it, find it again for a long time and be okay, but it's tough if you are managing a knuckleballer at times not to panic. Now ball to second base, and Devin Travis throws out Leone. Because here he is. He's not getting ground ball outs, settling into this outing.
Well, I just don't think that when you're a knuckleballer, I don't think you lose consistency of your pitches for the same reason that another pitcher would. Mechanically, you could be a lot more out of whack if you're a guy like Buchholz than you are if you're a guy like R.A. Dickey, I think. Pretty much repeats it. He's just playing catch. Pretty easily repeated delivery he has. But on any given day, if that ball isn't dancing like it's supposed to, he could get himself in trouble, and he could go out the next inning, and then all of a sudden he has it again.
Really is a fraternity, though, of guys, knuckleballers in there. I wonder why there are not more guys who try it. I mean, especially guys who perhaps are not going well and may be their chance to stay in the big leagues. To right field as Carrera is there, and he makes the catch. It's a 1-2-3 4th inning for R.A. Dickey. 3.5 in the books, 4-0 Boston.
Really? He's got a pink suit on today.
Be sharing business tips, stories of inspiration, and other ways to make every day a big day for your small business. Celebrate with us at easternbank.com/smallbiz. Into the bottom of the 4th inning we go. Clay Buchholz back on the hill. Jose Bautista leading it off and taking a curveball in there for strike 1. Bautista walked in the 1st inning, one of 3 first-inning walks for Buchholz. Not walked anybody since the 3 in the 1st, and has induced 5 ground ball outs and a strikeout since that point. So seemingly has settled in. He's also trimmed up his look a little bit. I don't know if you noticed, he used to see that long hair coming out of his hat. That's not the case. It is a little bit different now. He's got something else going on. It's kind of the Joe Kelly look, I think.
Yeah. He cut his hair shorter, and then
down the first base line, he'll flip to first for the out. And then what?
And then all of a sudden, a couple of the Red Sox guys started showing up with brand new haircuts, kind of a modified mohawk look.
But there's a thing
Joe
up
Kelly
top.
has a little ponytail in the back there.
So does Clay now.
Yeah, is that what he's got going?
Yeah.
Kind of a samurai kind of a look almost, shaved on the side, mohawk, and then a ponytail in the back.
One down here in the 4th inning. There was a time here, I believe it was 2 years ago, during a game that he dealt here in Toronto, where some of the Blue Jays thought that he was going to his hair to get some sort of substance. You may remember that.
Yeah. Well, he always would go to his hair, and his hair was always wet. Maybe had some product in there. I don't know if that helped him or hurt him.
Umpires never checked. In fact, the Blue Jays didn't ask to check at the time. Jack Morris was broadcasting games up here for the Blue Jays at the time, and he was the one that kind of brought it to the forefront. This is to center field, and he'll drop in. Edwin Encarnacion's got a 1-out single. And for the Jays, their 2nd hit of the day. H.B. Hood salutes the heart of Red Sox Nation and the Red Sox Foundation, knowing there's always a way to say yes. 4,900 accredited charities in New England asked for help last year, and the club went 4,900 for 4,900. We love to make dreams come true for the families of New England. 1 out and 1 on for Kevin Pillar. He's got the full pink bat going on this Mother's Day.
Robbie Ross was another one of the players that was sporting that mohawk too. He'll be sporting that down in Pawtucket now.
Popped up foul off to the right, out of play. Our batting now with Chris Colabello waiting on deck. That's close. Not quite, but it's close to what he's got going on. 0-2 pitch on the ground, and diving is Pedroia. His throw is in time. Dustin Pedroia never ceases to amaze. Nice rangy play there. Looked like that was ticketed for right field, but again, Pedroia comes up with it.
Last year, no chance Speedy can catch up with that ball. The turf is so much slower. This ball hit very hard, but look at how it's slowing down already. Petey gets over there, makes the dive. It's always so impressive how quickly he gets back up to his feet and throws the ball. Sometimes doesn't even bother getting up to his feet, throws you out from the ground. Great play.
Encarnacion taking second base on that ground out to the right side, and brings up Chris Colabello. That one right off the face mask of Leon.
Petey again getting low to the ground, reaching almost behind them. You see the black, they call those turf turds, actually. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that, but that's what they call them. I just did.
You just did.
Yeah.
So
it's that black rubberized, almost like ground up tires that they settle down in between with some sand and try to. That turf starts out being like blades of grass that's really, really long, and then they settle that stuff down in between. They say it's going to take another couple months before it really settles in nicely, and that's why it's so slow right now.
So it's got to kind of flatten out.
Yeah. But you'd think that maybe they either need to put more of that stuff in there or mow the lawn a little bit, trim it up.
Players have talked about some of that stuff coming up into their eyes on ground balls.
As Drupal Cabrera said, he got hit in the eye with one of the pieces of the black rubber on a ground ball that was hit to him.
This plays different than the surface that is in Tropicana Field in St. Pete.
Oh, yeah. Much different surface. Well, talking to Pilar before this series started, and he said it's a little harder to run on, too. It's almost like you're playing a little beach volleyball. You don't have the
See, all
look
that
at
stuff
that.
coming up. That's amazing.
It's a great shot.
And what does it do again? What purpose does it serve?
The turf?
Yeah, no. The black stuff in between. Why is it necessary to have it in there?
Because it's filling in the spaces between the grass, quote unquote, grass blades, the blades of grass. Which is all rubberized as well. It's a synthetic surface, but those blades of grass start off being really, really long, and then you fill it in, so the grass ends up being shorter. If you fill that stuff up, then you're. But that's the longest turf grass I've ever seen. You sink down into it.
Runner at second here, 2 down. Colabello waiting on a 1-2 pitch. And he'll line it into center field for a base hit. Encarnacion being sent around. The throw from Betts is offline, and the Blue Jays are on the board. And the Massachusetts native Chris Colabello driving in the Blue Jays' first run of the day.
Nice base hit right up the middle, just not trying to do too much with that pitch. Mookie comes up throwing. You don't get the extra bounce off that turf either to home plate.
Born in Framingham, Massachusetts, Chris Colabello has had a good series here against the Red Sox, including a home run on Friday night. Now here's Carrera for his second at bat against Buchholz. And a swing and a miss for strike one.
Good pitch right there by Buchholz. Little excitement from the Blue Jays trying to get something going. Carrera comes up there looking to ambush the first pitch. And he throws him a nice changeup to get him out in front.
It was a changeup that was down, which certainly has been important for Buchholz. A lot of those changeups early on this season had been up, and he was working on getting him down.
Now, very few pitchers throw their changeup looking for a called strike. It's not where you're trying to throw it. You're trying to throw it so that it looks like a decent pitch to hit. You want to swing and a miss out of your change.
Ground ball to first. It is a foul ball.
Now,
I remind you to vote for the Amica Pitcher of the Week at NESN.com/Amica and enter to win a $100 gift card from NESN to the Yawkey Way team store.
you know, some pitchers will talk about throwing like a get-me-over curveball. They're trying to throw it for a strike. They're trying to throw it to a guy who's probably looking dead red, looking for a fastball. Just a get-me-over curve. Throw it for a called strike. And then guys will throw their curveball where they're trying to bury it in the ground, where they're trying to get you to swing and miss. Very few guys will throw their changeup looking for a called strike.
You're trying to throw it the same way you throw the fastball, same arm angle and action, right?
Yes. It's supposed to look just like your fastball, and because of your grip, most guys do a circle change. There are different ways to throw it. You throw it as hard as your fastball, but because of the grip on the ball, you cannot throw it as hard.
Ground ball by the mound towards second. Pedroia racing in and throws to first in time to retire Carrera. Well, the Blue Jays get a run their first of the day. It's 4-1 Boston. Get immediate care without leaving the ballpark at the Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center First Aid Station behind Section 12 on the lower concourse. BIDMC is the official hospital of the Boston Red Sox. Clay Buchholz appeared to come up lame after this, and a little bit of a stumble coming off the mound. Stayed there for a bit as that play unfolded on the right side of the infield. After it was over, still took some time and was checked on briefly by Rick Jamieson, the trainer, but he's still kind of walking around in that dugout.
He didn't really rush in there and ask for any help, but
nope.
It certainly looked like he felt some kind of twinge somewhere, but he's not really complaining about it at all.
Deep third, a long throw for Donaldson, not a problem. Hard and accurate on that throw. Pedroia's out number 1 of this 5th inning. Well, we'll have a special mid-5th studio show presented by Dairy Queen coming up. TC and Tim Wakefield. Be sure to check that out. 1 out here in the 5th inning as Big Papi climbs in the box. Walk in the first, a ground out to short in the 2nd inning.
I like that mid-5th show that we do. Makes me hungry, though. Sponsored by Dairy Queen. I just want a peanut buster parfait. I do. I really do. TC and Tim Wakefield. Tim Wakefield of the 200 victory variety. Tim Wakefield. 200. That's a lot, man. Oh, look, he's fixing up his do now.
See, now you get a good look at the new moss. I wish I could do that.
I really don't, actually.
If I had some moss, I would consider it. I don't think it's a possibility with what I got working.
Oh, yeah. You can let that grow out. I'm just, just too old for the new looks these days.
There's a pop-up. Foul. Back comes Tolley. Won't have a play. Back into the stands.
Be nice to be in your, 20s, early 30s again, just to say, this is what we're going with for a while. They call that a man bun when they tie that all up.
Is that what it is? Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I'll tell you what. When we saw Joe Kelly hop onto the plane the other day, I mean, he was a stylish guy. Basically was wearing a tuxedo on the flight. All in black bow tie, hair tied up in the man bun. He's got the same hairdo that Buchholz has. Styling.
Shift on. This is to right, and back goes the second baseman, Travis, to make the catch. Deeper in the shift that time, and it worked out for John Gibbons and the Jays. 2 down.
And Poppy can't even get a jam shot single with that thing on.
2 down here in the 5th inning. Brings up Hanley Ramirez. Heard some talk about banning shifts. Some people talking about. I don't know if it ever really came to a vote or anything. You think that is a possibility or a good thing?
Nope. Can't do it. Can't deny your team the ability to scout and try to understand where a certain hitter hits balls and then deny him the opportunity to stop him from doing it. Learn how to hit the other way. It's the best way to stop the shift. He does that on occasion. Goes the other way for base hits. I want to see how hard Hanley swings right here.
Oh, pretty hard. Lines it into left field for a 2-out base hit for Hanley Ramirez.
Donaldson's so happy that he wasn't in the way of that ball right there. He just loads up. How quickly he loads up and then just unleashes. That swings like nectar right there. It's pretty, isn't it?
Well, he's been fun to watch so far, and the power for him has been amazing. 10 home runs so far this year.
He literally hit that ball too well. Had he missed it by just a smidgen.
Now Sandoval drives this out to deep right field, and that ball is going to be gone. 2-run home run for Pablo Sandoval, his 3rd. And the Red Sox take a 6-1 lead. The 2nd home run allowed today by R.A. Dickey.
Good to see Panda jump the yard. I'm going to show you both swings here. Here's Ramirez, who absolutely just whistles one into left, but he hit it too solidly. And here's Panda, hits underneath the ball just a little bit, so he gets it up in the air and gets that backspin, gets some extra lift. Had Hanley hit his ball, and Reggie Jackson used to talk about that all the time. When I hit a home run, it's actually a mistake. I'm not hitting the ball as solidly as I should. You're hitting just a little bit of the bottom half of the ball, so the ball lifts off your bat. Hanley smoked it, kept it on a line. Had he missed it, he might have hit that ball out of the park.
You know, Mike Napoli has been aboard twice, getting his third home run of the year back in the first. And lined out to right in the third.
Reggie Jackson used to say that almost every home run I've hit has actually been a mistake. Not hitting the ball right where I'm supposed to hit it. I would have liked a lot more mistakes.
How many did you hit?
19, man. They were all fun.
All four. Second time that Napoli has walked. Third walk allowed today by R.A. Dickey. Now look at this Sandoval round tripper.
He went down and got that too. That wasn't a terrible pitch thrown by R.A. Dickey, but as we talk about a lot of left-handed hitters are great low ball hitters. That's mid-thigh or lower, and he just went down and cleaned it out of there. I really like that slow motion view, and you can tell how the ball is kind of tumbling towards home.
Foul off to the right. Another big crowd here. We had over 40,000 come to the ball game yesterday, but it is among the quietest 40,000 people you will hear around the majors. Not a lot to cheer about so far either.
Yeah. They've had more to cheer about the last two nights.
One to Xander Bogaerts is popped up right side of the infield as Devin Travis makes the catch at second base to end the inning. All this came with 2 outs. A 2-run home run for Sandoval. 6-1. Stay tuned in 15 seconds for TC and Wake talking the game. Well, under the watchful eye of the trainer and the manager, Clay Buchholz throwing his warm-up tosses. He had thrown a couple when they came out, and noticed that he was having some trouble. We told you after last inning and showed you how he kind of tumbled a little bit off the mound, or stumbled off the mound, and briefly was taken a look at by Rick Jamieson, the head trainer, in between innings, but appears to be okay on those deliveries, and he is good to go here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Masai Takahashi out there checking on him.
A lot of injuries that happen in baseball are the quick stops and starts. And Buchholz had delivered the pitch, realized that the ball was hit to the right side, and then had that quick twitch muscle to try to say, oh my gosh, I might have to go cover first base. And he stumbled a little bit trying to make that turn, then realized he wasn't going to have to cover first base and stopped. And the turf may have had something to do with it as well.
Josh Thole leading it off here for the Jays. 8-9-1 for Toronto. The Red Sox now on top by 5 runs. A little bit of breathing room for a change for the Red Sox. Red Sox losing 7 of their last 8 games. Stretch began with a season-long 4-game losing streak to begin the month of May. And now they've lost 12 of their last 16. And about to step outside the American League East after today. They will head west to take on the Oakland A's, having troubles of their own, and the Seattle Mariners as part of this lengthy road trip for the Red Sox.
It's going to be a test. I think we've seen that this division in the East is going to be very competitive, albeit not great teams. You get outside the division, you start playing against some better competition. It's not going to be easy, especially when it's a 10-day road trip.
Ground ball right side. Pedroia is there. 1 down in the bottom of the 5th inning. Well, the Oakland A's are 12-20 heading into today's action. They have lost 4 in a row.
Yep, that's not the team it used to be.
Look at the American League West, and the biggest surprise of all is sitting there at the top for the Houston Astros. Off to a terrific start. Best record in the American League. Most wins, 20 wins for the Astros so far in the season. Didn't expect that.
Well, you kept watching that team kind of get rid of their high-priced talent over a number of years, kind of stockpiling some younger players, some good talent. They had good drafts. So their minor league system is starting to produce for them.
0-2 the count. It's not been a big strikeout game for Buchholz. Only 1 K so far. You get Ezequiel Carrera back in the 2nd inning.
I think Buchholz is fine with that as long as he gets ground balls, and he's produced some double play balls.
Well, just as we say it, he strikes out Goins. 2nd strikeout for Buchholz, 2 down in the inning.
There's just nothing wrong with this pitch right here. Watch the late downward movement. Swing and miss changeup.
Now 2 down in the inning, and Devin Travis the batter. Walk and a ground out for the leadoff hitter for the Blue Jays. Pitching line for Clay Buchholz brought to you by Ace Ticket. 4 2/3, 3 hits, the 1 run that came last inning. 3 walks, all coming in the 1st inning. Now 2 Ks for Clay.
Well, the book on Travis, as you look at Mookie Betts in center field, playing him to the opposite field, is that he's kind of an inside out, hit the ball the other way at all costs type of hitter. It had served him so well, but he has really started to struggle.
Line to right field. Does go the other way. Able to cut it off. Bradley gets up over his glove. And Travis into second base. And Bradley chasing it towards the corner. Could not field it cleanly over there. Got back to the wall. And to second base goes Devin Travis with 2 outs. It's a double.
Surprising to me for Travis, being a young player as he is, swings the bat very much the same as a guy like Derek Jeter. That ball just skips by Bradley. Inside out, forcing everything the other way, dragging that bat head through the zone, and then just powering it into right. He's had some very, very impressive numbers, but as I mentioned before, that hit right there has really struggled over the last week or so.
So 2 down, Travis at second base, and Josh Donaldson the batter. 0 for 2. He's grounded out twice, the first time into a double play. Quick outs for Buchholz prior to the double by Travis. Now he falls behind Donaldson 2-0. Fouled off to the right, out of play. Time to look at the road ahead for the Red Sox, brought to you by People's United Bank. Chartering to Oakland after the ball game today. 4-game series then with Seattle. We're heading home to take on the Texas Rangers and the Los Angeles Angels. Let's back out again. A lot of white there going on in the month coming up here. Oakland, Seattle, Minnesota, Texas. A lot of road games.
Schedule gets tougher, doesn't it?
After 23 games in the division. Call to strike. Crowd doesn't like it. Josh Donaldson not crazy about it. It's 2-2. Appeared to be low.
Yeah. Buck will take it.
Surrounds that and grounds it foul outside of third.
Now, Don, I'm not usually one to make excuses for major league players when they don't make a play. You come expecting guys to make plays, but when you think of JBJ and Wright and that ball that skipped by him out there, he's the one guy on this team that hasn't had any experience on this turf. He just got here. They didn't take batting practice today. He hasn't really had a chance to experience how this ball's going to react, how it's bouncing. He may have been a little nonchalant there, or maybe it just took a funnier hop that he's never seen before on him.
Pickoff play at second, no throw. Bogart's cheating in behind Travis.
Remember when we talked yesterday, this is the only field I've ever seen where the infielders had to come out and get used to the field. Outfielders always have to. They have to try to figure out how the ball bounces off the wall with the nooks and crannies. But the infield's the infield's the infield no matter where you go, except here.
Towards the gap in left center field. This is going to get down and go to the track on the wall. Round from second is Travis to score. Josh Donaldson. An RBI double, and it's now 6-2. Red Sox on top. A two-out RBI double for Josh Donaldson.
This ball is scalded. We've talked about how he's a great low ball hitter. He hit a ball out of the ballpark that was off his kneecaps, and we've said how slow this turf is, but when you hit it that deep into the gap, you don't really need it to roll very far. Good player.
Two down, runner at second base. Jose Bautista now. He's getting into the heart of this Toronto order. Pretty healthy hack there to fastball down low. On the ground is short. Bogarts has it. And that takes care of business here in the fifth inning. However, the Blue Jays do get another run. It is 6-2 Boston at the end of 5. Red Sox baseball on NESN is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. 6-2. Red Sox have the lead over the Toronto Blue Jays. R.A. Dickey back out there for the 6th inning. Jackie Bradley Jr. Action for the Blue Jays as Jeff Francis warmed up a couple times yesterday. Never did get into the game. Did he go? No, he did not, says Sean Barber. Let's check in with Guerin.
Thanks, Don. It's been a quick turnaround for Jackie Bradley Jr., who got the call that he was coming up yesterday. His flight got into Toronto about 11:45 p.m., and they could not get off the plane due to thunderstorms. Bradley has been playing well in Pawtucket and hopes he can translate that success on this call-up. Don Stevie also told me that his ears were still messed up from his flight, and he was having trouble hearing, but said that doesn't seem to be a problem today.
No, anything to get back to the big leagues. Bad flight, doesn't matter. As long as you get there, and he is back again.
Hey, when you're headed in that direction, it doesn't matter how long it takes you.
Now retired here, and 0 for 3 return to the Red Sox lineup so far. Sandy Leon singled to right in the second, grounded out to second base in the 4th inning. Play for Leon to pull. Center fielder Kevin Pillar over towards right center field. Pops it up the other way, though. And Josh Donaldson stepping into foul ground. 2 down. It's time now for a game break, brought to you by Jordan's, the furniture store of the Boston Red Sox. Tom? Okay, Tom, thanks very much. 2 down here in the 6th inning. 6-2. The Red Sox have the lead, and I guess Bryce Harper coming into his own right now. Still pretty young guy.
Some kind of hot. Yeah. He had 5 homers in 2 games, now 6 and 3. Man.
R.A. Dickey's pitching line brought to you by your Eastern Lexus dealers. Gave up 4 first inning runs, 6 altogether in this game, and 5 2/3 innings. It's not struck anybody out. Walk 3. Fly ball down the right field line. Long run for Carrera. He will get there, though, and make the catch. It ends the top of the 6th inning. 5.5 deep, 6-2 Boston. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, celebrating 13 years. Watch every out-of-market game live or on demand in true HD on over 400 mobile and connected devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking, widget, and more every night on every device. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Clay Buchholz about to throw his 80th pitch, beginning this bottom of the 6th inning. Edwin Encarnacion with a swing and a foul tip, and down he goes. That back leg gave out on him. I'm not sure what happened there.
Got to wait a while for him to decide to show back up and hit again. I mean, he's had a heck of a lot of success, but we talked about it in the first game. Just sort of an odd stance. He almost looks off balance and stiff, leaning backwards. Looks like you could almost walk up to him and push him over.
To center field, and Mookie Betts kind of got fooled on the swing, started back, now comes in. Plenty of room, and 1 out in the inning. Up over 100 pitches for R.A. Dickey through the first 6 innings. So now up in the pen, Ryan Tepera. Saw Jeff Francis warming before, but it's Tepera now. 1 out in the 6th for Kevin Pillar. Blue Jays center fielder has grounded into a fielder's choice and grounded out to second base.
We saw some really good looks of R.A. Dickey's knuckleball on its way to the plate. Had some communication with Tim Wakefield back in the studio, and I said, you know, how many rotations should a knuckleball have? And he says, ideally, if you've got a good one, shouldn't rotate at all. See, that thing's kind of just floating up there, but you can see the ball spinning just a little bit. Maybe that's why it wasn't a great knuckleball, and Panda hit it out of the yard.
Swing and a miss, and Buchholz picks up his 3rd strikeout. 2 down in the inning.
Buchholz starting to settle in nicely after that first inning when he started throwing more fastballs and controlling a little bit better. Just blew that one right by Pillar.
Make Insurance, great service, great coverage, and a great price for auto, home, or life insurance. 2 down here in the 6th inning. Here is Chris Colabello. 2 for 2 in the game with an RBI. Single to right, a single to center.
94. I think what's happened for Buck more than anything in this game is once he started throwing the fastball a little bit better, a little more consistently, it made his changeup that much better too. He's throwing his changeup 10 miles an hour slower. It's been a good pitch for him today.
Buchholz last time out going 6 1/3. The game against Tampa Bay, giving up 5 runs each of his last 2 outings. He's allowed 5 runs so far today, only 2. 0-2 goes the other way to right. Bradley coming in, and that ball is going to hop into the glove. So he trapped it out there in right, and Chris Colabello 3 for 3 on the afternoon.
I gotta think Colabello knows that this whole weekend everybody back home has been able to see him play. That ball skipping into the glove.
Two down, Colabello at first base. Ezequiel Carrera 0 for 2. He has struck out looking, grounded out to second base. In at third is Sandoval and Case. And Carrera is showing bunt, but he pulls it back, takes the strike. Gibbons Blue Jays were under 500 when the Red Sox arrived, but they're having the first 2 games of the series. Now 16 and 15 coming into today.
See the Panda coming way in to take the bunt away from Carrera. You got to think that his thought now is to try to slap the ball past Sandoval at third base, look for something out over, maybe down and away, and just poke at it.
On the ground, foul. Foul back and out of play. Still 1-2. But don't miss WB Mason extra innings right after the game. TC and Tim Wakefield have clubhouse reaction from the Red Sox, including Clay Buchholz's outing today. Whatever, whenever, wherever. Who but WB Mason? 2 down here in the 6th inning with Chris Colabello at first base. Carrera battling here. Waiting on a 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball off the mound to retrieve it is Buchholz, and then the toss to first in time to get Carrera. Kind of threw a changeup there to first, but it gets it done. 6-2 Red Sox. Ace Ticket, the official Red Sox ticket partner, has the best seats at the lowest prices to all the games at Fenway, all the 200% guaranteed. Right now, Ace Ticket has special savings on all Red Sox games, including the Yankees. Visit Ace Ticket or call 1-800-MY-SEATS. Well, Clay Buchholz, 93 pitches deep in his outing through the first 6 innings and a 6-2 lead. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by Kia. Major League debut for Ryan Tepera. With Buffalo in 8 games, a 0.57 earned run average. And he takes over for R.A. Dickey, went the first 6 innings and is very much on the hook in this game. The rest of the numbers, 5 2/3, 17 strikeouts, 5 walks. And opponents hitting at 115 against Tepera.
Another power arm out of the bullpen.
This is powered to center, but Pilar back there to make the catch. Pedroia retired for the first out of the 7th inning. Up comes David Ortiz with one away here in the 7th. So today for R.A. Dickey, he goes 6 innings, 7 hits, 6 runs. He walked 3 and did not strike anybody out to 103 pitches in his 6-inning effort.
Last time out, R.A. Dickey went 8 innings against the Yankees, won that game 3-1. Also didn't strike anybody out. It's pretty unusual.
.75 career minor league games for Tepera before making his major league debut. It's Ortiz to pop it up in foul ground as Encarnacion makes the catch for the second out of the inning. Well, Thursday, May 21st is Louis Tiant bobblehead night at Fenway Park. All fans in attendance will receive a free Louis Tiant bobblehead presented by Granite City Electric. Visit redsox.com/promos for more info and to purchase your tickets right now. Ortiz frustrated, 0 for 3 day at the plate. And he fouls out that time for the second out of the 7th inning. Here's Hanley Ramirez, and a ringing single his last time up, 1 for 3 on the day.
Hanley starts that leg kick even before the pitcher delivers the ball, gets himself loaded up on his backside, tries to recognize the pitch and then explode.
Chop to third and picked nicely by Donaldson, quickly up, and he throws out Ramirez. Nice play by Josh Donaldson at third base. Sox down in order. 7th inning stretch. 6-2 Boston. Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare on southwest.com. Your local Subaru dealers. Digital Federal Credit Union. See what DCU can save you. Sullivan Tire and Auto Service. Thank you, New England, for 60 great years. And by the Kia Sorrento. Inside the Rogers Center in Toronto, where the Red Sox have a 6-2 lead. Like Napoli with a home run in this game. Pablo Sandoval with a home run in this game. And Buchholz into his 7th inning of work. 93 pitches deep. Josh Thole, the catcher for the Blue Jays, takes strike 1 at the top of the zone. Jeichi Tazawa, who was up yesterday, did not get into the game, is now up, warming in the pen. In on the hands and headed out down the right field line. That's going to fall. Up over the head of Bradley Jr. Thole will head to second base. Up off that artificial surface and over the head of Bradley, who is racing to try to catch it in the air, then could not. And it is a double for Josh Thole.
The entire Red Sox outfield was shifted to the opposite field, so there was no way Bradley was going to be able to get over and get this ball. Well, once again, he didn't expect it to bounce that high and up over his head either.
Only gaining his lead at second base. Ryan Goins the batter, and he'll slap it foul for strike 1. Goins 0 for 2. He's grounded out to second base and struck out swinging. Colts jumping ahead 0-2. It's not been a huge strikeout day for Clay. He has 3, 1 in the 2nd, 1 in the 5th, and 1 in the 6th inning. He's walked 3, and all those walks came back in the 1st inning. Breaking ball fouled off to the left. Well, today's suits are designed by Joseph Aboud, custom made in the USA from fine Italian fabrics, now available at Men's Warehouse. The 0-2 pitch coming here to Ryan Goins. Out of his delivery a little bit there was Buchholz, and it's a ball and 2 strikes. Pitch number 100 coming up for Clay. Reaches out and fouls it back, stays alive.
Much more economical for Buchholz after those first few innings where he had over 30 pitches. Settled in.
Last time out against Tampa Bay, throwing 107 pitches. That is his season high in pitches thrown. And time called. Leon going out there.
It's a good discussion to have. Goins struck out in his last at-bat against Clay Buchholz, but he's been a .500 hitter against him, 7 for 14 in his career.
Jumps back out of the way, and it evens 2-2. Look at the pitch count throughout this game for Buchholz. Only 1-2-3 inning. That was the 3rd inning for Clay. On the ground right side, Pedroia plays the high hop. throws out Goins as Tolley takes third base. So 1 out, a runner at third base, and John Farrell coming out. Tazawa has been warming in the pen, and Farrell's going to go get him. So today, Clay Buchholz, who had a rocky beginning, walking 3 in the first inning, giving up a couple of runs in this game so far, leaves responsible for Tolley at third base. But he gives the Red Sox 6 1/3 today and departs with a chance to grab a victory. Pitching change from Toronto. Today's game summary is brought to you by Xfinity. Clay Buchholz just leaving after 6 1/3. So far charged with 2 runs. Napoli and Sandoval both homering. All that off R.A. Dickey. Went 6 innings, giving up the 6 earned runs. And Massachusetts native Chris Colabello 3 for 3 today as an RBI. So Buchholz departs. Tazawa comes in. Top of the order, Devin Travis. And a foul off to the right, out of play. Tazawa comes in with a runner at third and 1 out into his 15th game of the year. 0-1 with a 2.03 ERA. 4 walks, 11 strikeouts, and opponents hitting at 220 against Tazawa. Your thoughts on the outing of Clay Buchholz today?
After the shaky start, pretty good. You know, obviously that 4-run cushion helps out a little bit, makes you feel like you can attack hitters a little bit more. You don't have to be so fine. You don't have to make perfect pitches. But it's been a while since any Red Sox starter has gone out there and been able to pitch with a lead. Some of it their own doing. Red Sox bats woke up a little bit today and gave that cushion. Now it's a 6-2 game. It had the makings of one of those starts where you throw your hands up and say, oh my gosh, not again.
And you think he may relax in that bottom of the first inning after knowing he had a 4-0 lead before he started. But able to work his way through that first amazingly. Is on the ground to short. Bogarts will go to first for the out as the run scores. And from third comes Tolley. And it is now 6-3. That run is charged to Buchholz. So it closes the book on Clay. 3 runs in 6 1/3 innings. Double-barreled action in the Blue Jays pen. Jeff Francis back up again, joined by Steve Delabar.
Travis adds to his team leading total of 25 RBIs now.
Here's Josh Donaldson, who had a double to the gap in left center field last time up.
And how about the play he made to end the inning? This ball's almost by him. He did a great job. Some of the mistakes that young players make is they'll chase the ball with their glove reaching out to it. He ran to the ball and then reached out at the last second. Going to be slower if you're reaching when you don't have a chance to catch it yet. Run, then reach out and grab it.
Does have history with Tazawa, including a home run. You'll see that velocity back for Tazawa, 95 miles an hour on that last fastball. Has given up runs in 3 of his last 6 outings.
You and I saw him throw quite a few more breaking balls than normal his last couple outings.
Fastball again, but just off the outside edge.
Well, that has been consistently a ball today, that same pitch. Both sides.
Fly ball struck well to deep right field. Bradley Jr. going back to the warning track to make the catch. It's a pretty good ride by Josh Donaldson, but does not have enough. We played 7. It's 6-3 Boston.
Okay.
Red Sox in their 31st game of the 75 season. The Red Sox beat the A's 10-5. Future Hall of Famer Jim Rice knocked in 3 for the Red Sox in that game. As Pablo Sandoval leading it off. It's Ryan Tepera making his major league debut and a successful first inning in the major leagues. Retired Pedroia, Ortiz, and Hanley Ramirez. One he will not likely forget, and now he starts his inning with Pablo Sandoval. R.A. Dickey on the hook today. Blue Jays getting a run back in the bottom of the 7th inning. Sandoval carves it foul to the screen. Last time up, hitting this 2-run shot.
Thing of beauty right there. Went down and got that. Look at the eyes on the ball. Great concentration.
On the ground, right side. Devin Travis takes care of Sandoval. One down here in the 8th. I want to remind you to tune in tonight at 10 for NESN Sports Today, presented by People's United Bank. See what know-how can do. Adam and Nikki will have post-game reaction from Toronto and a recap of the Mother's Day walk in the park today, held at Fenway Park. It's now 8 in a row retired by Blue Jays pitching. And it takes us to Mike Napoli, who was on base 3 times against R.A. Dickey today, including a 3-run home run in the 1st, a walk in the 3rd, a walk in the 5th. Jeff Francis up alone now in the Blue Jays pen. Let's take a look at the Toyota play of the game, and it was the 3-run home run by Mike Napoli back in the 1st inning. A hanger from R.A. Dickey, as it turned out. Napoli's 3rd home run of the year, and a much-needed, good-sized lead right out of the gate today for the Red Sox.
So much more of a controlled swing right there by Napoli. Sometimes you swing a little more tentatively against a knuckleball, but he's gotten pretty big and pretty wild at times and has really struggled.
So Napoli strikes out. Tepera's been very impressive. 2 down here in the 8th.
Good power arm with a good breaking ball to go with it. Slider right here. See that spin just ducks away from the bat head of Mike Napoli.
2 down here in the 8th inning, and brings up Xander Bogaerts. 0 for 3. He's popped out to short, lined out to right, popped out to second.
Xander in his young career loves to play against the Blue Jays. About a .330 hitter against them.
Drives this ball down the right field line, headed foul. The big crowd here today in Toronto, 42,419. 42,419 for Game 3 of the series. R.A. Dickey, who's on the hook today for the Jays, gave up 6 runs in 6 innings. Walked 3, didn't strike anybody out. Tepera in his major league debut has been very good. Now Bogaerts will send one to short right field. Carrera coming in, and he'll get there. 2 very good innings for Ryan Tepera in his major league debut. Red Sox have a 6-3 lead. That's on to the last half of the 8th inning in Toronto. Red Sox holding on to a 6-3 advantage. And Jose Bautista to lead it off here for the Jays. Back out there is Tozawa. Got the final 2 outs of the 7th. Bautista, Encarnacion, and Pilar expected here in the inning. 1-0 pitch is in there for a strike, and it evens at 1-1. Tozawa was able to get Travis and Donaldson to end the 7th. Deals with 3, 4, and 5 here for the Jays in the 8th.
Tozawa has to find a way to navigate through this dangerous part of this lineup with just a 3-run lead. These guys can turn it around in a hurry.
Bautista lines it to left towards the end of the bat, but he's still got enough on it to get it out to left field. Leadoff single to begin the bottom of the 8th. Well, today's Closer Look is brought to you by FW Web, and it's tomorrow's starters in Game 1 of the 3-game series between the Red Sox and the Oakland A's from the left coast, as Rick Porcello will be on the mound. 3-2 with a 4.38 earned run average. Well, 2 good starts in a row for Porcello. And Scott Kazmir 2-1 this season with a 2.75 earned run average, coming off a tough outing. Our coverage begins at 9 tomorrow night, East Coast time. Rick Porcello electing to stay with the team rather than traveling ahead, which is always an option for the starting pitcher, but going to go with the club. Edwin Encarnacion bats with a runner on and a fly ball down the left field line. It is headed foul and into the seats.
Well, it's kind of what I'm talking about right there. Yep. Bautista singles, Encarnacion. You know, he's a power threat every time he steps to the plate. 5 home runs on the year.
Fractured the bat with that cut.
And I'm happy he was out in front and broke his bat on that one.
That's Cecil, the left-hander, up in the pen. Meanwhile, Jeff Francis has thrown about
100
3
innings.
games in the pen, just warming up the last 2 days.
Can't find his way into a game.
Can't get into a real game. So how he yanks that outside at 94. In there for a strike. That seemed to buckle Encarnacion. 1-2. Let's see Agondo up in the pen. Just did get up.
Every day, Lexi.
On the ground to third base, could be 2. Sandoval to second for 1. On to first, it is 2. Well, Tozawa and the Red Sox needed that around the horn. Hit sharply enough that they could get that turned, and they do. Third double play turned by the Red Sox defense today.
Sandoval had a little bit of trouble with this last hop, but all he's trying to do is make a good solid throw to Petey at second, because they know that Encarnacion doesn't run well. Make that good solid turn, and then the double play becomes easy at the back end.
2 down here in the 8th for Kevin Pillar.
So important for Sandoval to make a nice throw for Petey to be able to handle at second base.
Popped up foul off to the right, out of play.
Pillar definitely went all in for Mother's Day. He's got Pink head to toe. He's even got a little flush of pink on his face.
Popped up, foul ground. Napoli will go as far as he can and makes the play. So gone are the Blue Jays in the 8th. We head to the 9th. Red Sox have a 6-3 lead. Game coverage. D'Angelo Ortiz learned some hitting tips from Xander Bogaerts. Justin Masterson takes the hot seat in small talk. Mom's favorite foods are discussed. Catch it all today after our Red Sox coverage on Nesson Clubhouse, presented by Delta Dental of Massachusetts. Koji Uehara, Red Sox closer, up in the pen as this top of the 9th inning begins. And the Red Sox try to add to their lead against a new pitcher on for the Blue Jays, Brett Cecil. His 13th appearance, 1-2. He is 2 for 3 in save opportunities on the year, 4.00 ERA. But it's sitting at 242 against him. And it's Jackie Bradley Jr. who begins the inning for the Red Sox.
Cecil can be tough on left-handed hitters. Strikes out about a guy an inning.
Second major league stint for Bradley this season. He'd been called up on April the 28th, but did not appear in that night's game. That also was against Toronto and was optioned back the very next day.
That's not really fair when you go season to season, but if you can count hitting streaks from one year to the next, you can also count hitless streaks dating back to last season. Bradley's 0 for his last 21. Had more at-bats against R.A. Dickey than he had faced any other pitcher, so they figure run him right out there. Now he gets Cecil.
It's jammed there and fouls it off to the left. Stay tuned tonight following WB Mason Extra Innings Live, a Red Sox final presented by Uno's. TC and Tim Wakefield have all the sights and sounds from the Mother's Day walk in the park at Fenway. One, two. Again, tried to tie him up inside.
I think what you're looking for more than anything out of Bradley is a shorter stroke, a little quicker to the ball. It always seemed like he was kind of had a slugger's mentality, a real big swing, but he's not going to hit a lot of balls out of the park, so he's got to be a line drive type of guy that can use his speed.
Spent the majority of last year with the Red Sox. 125 appearances as an outfielder in a Red Sox uniform last year. This one is fouled back. Center fielder Kevin Pillar over towards left center. The gap out there in right center. Breaking ball for strike 3. So Cecil able to strike out Bradley for the first out of the ninth.
I like the way Bradley hung in there for most of that at bat. This is a nasty pitch right there that gets him, and he knew it, but he battled him pretty good.
One out in the ninth, and it brings up Sandy Leon. Leon today 1 for 3 from the number 9 spot as he singled in the second inning.
You know, the numbers certainly don't reflect it for Leon so far, but he's given you some pretty good at bats. He battles up there. He hits the ball hard. He's had some bad luck, a lot of atom balls.
There's a ground ball, a lot of spin on it, coming back to Encarnacion. He will need Cecil to get there, and he does. 2 down here in the ninth. Well, CVS Pharmacy is proud to support the American Lung Association Lung Force campaign to make lung cancer a public health priority. From May 3rd to the 23rd, you can make a donation to support lung cancer research at the registered all CVS Pharmacy locations. CVS Pharmacy is the official pharmacy of the Boston Red Sox. 2 down in the ninth inning. There's 12 in a row now retired by Blue Jays pitching, and a pretty good job by Ryan Tepera in his major league debut, going 2 shutout innings against some pretty good hitters.
Yeah, he looks good, doesn't he?
Sure did.
Kind of looked like the Red Sox bats were really going to wake up in today's game. They do have 7 hits, but a couple good blasts. You know, the home runs have really made the difference in this game for the scoring. 3-run shot early in the game by Napoli, and then 2-run shot by the Panda.
A high strike call there to Mookie Betts. Felt good for the Red Sox. Certainly felt good for Mike Napoli, off to the slow start.
He's looking out there, right there where his ball landed right now. He's like,
still looking at it.
I crushed that one.
2-1. And that's in there for a strike, as it's the benefit of the doubt on that inside corner. On deck, Dustin Pedroia. That's not chasing, and it's full.
Might see a big swing out of Mookie Betts right here. He's sitting dead red on a 3-2 count.
And he takes ball 4. So down to first base goes Betts. That breaks up a string of 12 in a row retired by Toronto pitching. I want to remind you, tomorrow at 9, don't miss Red Sox first pitch, presented by Joseph Abboud, available at Men's Warehouse. TC and Jim Rice will preview the West Coast trip, starting with 3 in Oakland. Steve Delabar back up for the Blue Jays in the pen. Throw to first, and leaning and out is Mookie Betts. He was headed in the other direction. So pick him off at first base to end the top of the ninth inning. 6-3 Red Sox. We head to the bottom of the ninth. Films from the outstanding student filmmakers. Now the 4 finalists are revealed. Here are the critiques from Hollywood judges Brad Falchuk, co-creator of Glee and American Horror Story, along with legendary TV executive producer Tom Werner. Hear what it will take to become NESN next producer tomorrow night at 8. Well, it is on to the bottom of the 9th inning. Red Sox have a 6-3 lead, and Koji Uehara into the game for Boston.
Good to get Koji back into a game, and a game that matters here for a save situation for him. His velocity's been up, and the bite on that splitter's been kind of back to the old Koji we know and love.
Well, leading it off is Chris Colabello. 3-for-3 day for Colabello. All singles, one to right, one to center, and another to right, driving in a run.
Colabello having a great series against the Red Sox with all his friends and family back home in Milford watching. Except for he hasn't had to face the Koji splitter.
No 2 pitch. And a swing and a miss. Chases that splitter. And it's out number 1 of the 9th inning.
It's really unhittable. When he's throwing it like that, you're just not going to hit it. As soon as you think you got it, it drops down about 8 inches and you have no chance. And every one of those pitches, 3 in a row, were exactly like that.
The pinch hitter for Carrera coming up, Danny Valencia. Carrera had been 0 for 3, striking out and grounding out twice. In there for strike 1. Uehara used 13 pitches to get his 5th save of the year. 1, 2, 3 in the second game against Tampa Bay.
You remember last year when Koji really wasn't healthy, and he went through that period where guys were jumping on that first pitch, and he felt like he had to change his MO a little bit. If you don't hit that first fastball, you're going to be in trouble the rest of the at bat.
Ground ball to third base. Tough hop, but Sandoval plays it, and the throw is in time. 2 down in the 9th. Well, tomorrow at 9:30, don't miss Red Sox Game Day Live, presented by DCU. TC and Jim Rice with a preview. Rick Porcello start against the Oakland A's. DCU, Digital Federal Credit Union. What can DCU save you? 2 down in the 9th, and it brings up Josh Tolley. 2 for 12 since being called up from Buffalo. 2 quick outs here for Uehara in the 9th.
Now, we talked about the way the outfield sort of shifts a little bit into the opposite field. That's why when Tolley just kind of dumped that ball into right field in his last at bat, that's why it was an easy double. Too far of a run for Jackie Bradley Jr. to have to cover way over there. That's a little more modified this time, but you can see that Mookie Betts playing into the opposite field.
It's like the fastball, and it runs away at 87 miles an hour. Only behind here, 3-0 to Tolley. There's a strike, picks up the corner. So Tazawa went an inning and 2/3, allowing a hit, no runs, no walks, nor did he strike anybody out. The fastball trying to get another strike, and it is popped up. Foul ground as Leon comes back, but he will not have a play. So a full count now as Uehara had been down 3-0. Justin Smoke has come out on deck to bat for Ryan Goins. Uehara would just as soon take care of business right here.
Yeah. No more hitters.
The 3-2. Ball 4 and just low apparently. So Tolley down to first base with a 2-out walk. Tonight at 5:30, don't miss an all-new episode of the Ultimate Red Sox Show presented by AAA. We'll highlight the 40th anniversary of the 1975 Red Sox this week at Fenway. That and more tonight at 5:30 on the Ultimate Red Sox Show presented by AAA.
It's kind of a hard pitch to lay off right there, wasn't it?
You would think. And that has been a strike at times today for Lance Barksdale. Not this time. Now Smoke will take a strike. He has been coming into the first 2 games of this series as a defensive replacement at first base. He's 1 for 1 in his career against Koji with a 3-run home run. And unfortunately here, not the tying run.
Yeah, it'd be hard for him to hit a 3-run homer now.
Yes, virtually impossible. Devin Travis waiting on deck. Napoli not holding on. Tolley at first base. As Smoke grounds one right side. It is Bogaerts who cuts it off. The toss to first is in time, and the Red Sox win. They salvage the 3rd game of this 3-game series. A much-needed victory for the Red Sox. High fives all around from Koji Uehara, who picks up his 6th save of the year. Buchholz is a winner, as are the Red Sox. The final again from Toronto. The Red Sox 6, the Blue Jays 3, as we send it back to Boston and Tom Caron. TC?